Hello and welcome to Book Critique Set Number 3. The feature text for this book critique is Flotsam. It is a wordless book about a boy at the beach who is interested in all of the things that are laying along the shore. He ends up finding an old camera that has photos of things underwater, as well as pictures of people who are holding pictures of other people from the past. The boy ends up taking a picture of himself with the pictures and throws it back into the ocean for the next person who finds it to do the same. The first lesson is a 5th grade writing lesson aligned with the Common Core standards. To begin the lesson, the teacher will present the students with the book Flotsam and discuss the illustrations within the book. The students will think critically to determine what is happening in the illustrations, since there are no words. The students will then communicate with one another to share their ideas. Then the teacher will assign each student to a specific page in the book. Based on the illustrations of the page assigned to them, the students will use their creativity skills to write a narrative that clearly describes what is happening in each photo, as well as what is going on in that person's life. After the students are completed with writing their narratives, the students will post them onto Padlet with the specific illustration that their narrative was based off of. Here is an example of Padlet that I have created. As you can see, the students are able to post their narratives as well as the illustration that it goes with. Then, out of 5 stars, the students will rate at least 2 of their peers' narratives using the feature on Padlet. By rating their peers' narratives from 1 star to 5 stars, there will be specific elements such as detail, technique, and clear event sequencing to look for in order to determine the rating. After each student has rated at least 2 of their peers' narratives, the students will collaborate by meeting with those who rated their writing in order to discuss what they can improve on. And finally, to conclude the lesson, to reach a wider audience, the students will insert their narratives into the page of the book that corresponds with their writing. Then, they will place the book at a pop-up library in a park or school where people are able to exchange books, and someone will have the privilege of reading everyone's narratives. The second lesson is a 3rd grade science lesson aligned with the Ohio Learning Standards. First, the teacher will present the students with the book Flotsam and discuss the illustrations within the book. The students will think critically to determine what is happening in the illustrations. The teacher will explain what it means to reduce resource use, decrease waste and/or pollution, recycling, and reusing. The students will be able to identify exactly what these words mean. The teacher will ask if the students noticed anything that could be polluting the environment within the illustrations of Flotsam. Next, the students will communicate by thinking about things that they could do in order to decrease waste and pollution in their community. The students will determine a community location where they will clean up garbage and debris. And to reach a wider audience, the students will use their creativity skills to make a poster on Lucid Press that encourages others to participate in cleaning up the community as well. And lastly, the students will collaborate by cleaning up trash on the same day at the same time, displaying their knowledge of reducing, reusing, and recycling. And here's the example from Lucid Press of the poster for the community to become more involved. Next is Joseph Had a Little Overcoat, a traditional literature folktale that is based off of a song. I enjoyed this book not only because of the great illustrations, but also because of the themes and hidden treasures. On one page in the illustration, there's a painting on the wall that you wouldn't usually notice, but it said, "What one has, one doesn't want, and what one wants, one doesn't have." The next book is The Rain Came Down. This book gave an accurate representation of how sometimes the weather can really hinder your mood. I know it does for me, but I still try to make the best of it. I think that this book would not only teach students about the weather, but also it would teach them a lot about sequencing. The next book is Chrysanthemum. I absolutely love this book and the relatable message that it sends to children. This book is about learning to love yourself for who you are, regardless of what other people say. Next is Knuffle Bunny 2, A Case of Mistaken Identity. I really enjoyed the illustrations of this book. The artistic style was not only cartoon, but it was also realistic. Using pen and digital photography, the illustrations were extremely pleasing. The next book is Madeline. This poem had a beautiful flow to it, but I think what really captured my attention was the well-known locations that were incorporated into the illustration. At the end of the book, all of the places are identified and what pages that you could go back and find them on. Places such as Notre Dame, the Eiffel Tower, and the gardens at Luxembourg. Next, I have incorporated another wordless book. Tuesday is a book about frogs who escape the pond and fly around town in the middle of the night. It is another picture book by David Wesner, who also illustrated my feature text. Last but not least, The Oxcart Man. I enjoyed this book as it told about what life was like for farmers in U.S. agriculture in the past. It is a great way for students to learn about trade, economy, and agriculture. Also, this story was passed down by a farmer in New Hampshire. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed my third set of books.